Hello, welcome back. Today we're going to take a look at some tools from Olsa, and these happen to be some more of the kind of Astro Nano-esque line of tools that Olsa's putting out, which are very compact. They call them their Stubby Impact series, and these are SAE hex bits, metric hex bits, and Torx bits. These are all three made in Taiwan, if you're keeping track. Okay, so digging into these, you can see right away that these are very, very compact, especially when you look at the quarter drive. So everything in each one of these sets has quarter, 3/8, and a 1/2 inch drive piece. So starting with the SAE set, we go 1/8, 5/32, 3/16, quarter, 5/16, 3/8, 7/16, 1/2, and 9/16. Then on the metric set, we start at 3mm, 4mm, 5, 6, 7, 8, skipping 9, 10, skipping 11, 12, skipping 13, and 14. And then the Torx were T10, 15, 20, 25, 27, 30, 40, 45, 47, 50, 55, and 60. So pretty good span of Torx there. Missing a few in the metric set and the SAE set. I don't know that we're really missing anything overly important, but somebody else could chime in if there's something there that's missing that they need. But most of everything that I think you would need is there. Now, these being as short as they are very, very handy. And the fact that they put this hex drive on the outside of the sockets, now the 1/4 inch hex works out to be an 11mm ratcheting wrench. That's what you would use to drive this. And then if you got the Olsa socket clips, you can put this right into your 11mm wrench and have something that's held in there. It's not going to go anywhere. Now, what this socket clip is just a ball detent on a clip that has some knurling on it. Super handy. It just pushes into the socket like that and holds everything together. Now, of course, going up to the metric, we'll take a look at the 3/8 drive, and the 3/8 drive works with a 17mm. Put it on just like that, and of course Olsa has a 3/8 clip that you can get and stick on, turning your 17mm to a super compact ratcheting wrench that, you know, if you have a reversible wrench, you can make that whole thing reversible. How compact is everything here? It is, with the clip on it, you're right at 1 1/8 inches, which is very compact. When you start looking at these different size hex drivers, it's something that you can really get into a tight spot and get into a bunch of things with. Moving on to the Torx, we'll take a look at the T60, the big one here, and that works with a 22mm wrench. You can put that right in there, and Olsa also sells a 1/2 inch clip. They all come in a set together, a quarter, 3/8, and 1/2, and that puts your 22mm ratcheting wrench and makes it a driver for these stubby sockets. And how big would you expect to, how much space would you expect to take up? You're going to be just shy of 1.5 inches with that. And for a T60 that compact, to try and get into tight spaces, that is really, really nice. Now, of course, I know these are very Astro Nano-esque, and indeed you can use, if you have the Astro Tools ratchet wrenches, these tools also have what the Astro Nanos use. They have that circlip inside there. It retains on your Olsa Tools sockets just as well. Now these Astro Tools ratcheting wrenches are very nice. They have the flex head on them, but they are not reversible. So keep that in mind, that these are not reversible. But the quarter works. The 3/8 also works with the Astro sockets. Here's your 3/8 in the driver. That holds that in because it has that clip inside there. You could, of course, always throw your Olsa Tools clip on there for good measure as well, but that is retained by that clip. The 3/8 is also not reversible. And there's even a 1/2 inch, if you so desire, Astro driver that you can put these same Olsa Tools sockets on, and the 1/2 inch is also not reversible. These sockets are very nice. I can show you here on this T60, they are struck. So this laser etching, while it's nice when they're new, it can wear off. So it's nice to see that these are struck as well. You can see here on the metric set, they're struck. And the SAE set, these are also struck as well. You can see there on the 9/16. So that's nice. You don't have to worry about engraving tools as they wear. I do believe these are made in the similar factory as the Olsa tools, because they're, or the Astro tools, because they are just pretty much a dead ringer for the way they're made. Which is nice, because Olsa and Astro are offering some different things, and especially with these clips, they really complement each other very nicely. Biggest thing to take note of is the sizes here of these wrenches. The quarter is 11 mil, the 3/8 is 17 mil, and the 1/2 is 22 mil. So if you already have ratcheting wrenches and you wanted to get into these and drive them with some sort of ratchet, really getting these and these clips is really all you need to do, and you'll be set. Now you could also use this with just a regular wrench. Nothing saying you can't. You would just need these sizes. Now if you bought one of these sets and you wanted to throw it in your tool carry, how much extra weight would you be lugging around? Let's take a look here. On the Torx set, you would be right around 9.6 ounces. On the metric set, let's get it balanced, you'd be right around 8.2. And on the SAE set, be right around 8.5. So, a little bit extra weight, give you an idea how much extra weight you'd be carrying around. I will say, while these carriers are nice, I do not know how well they will hold up in a tool bag. A tool bag is a pretty rough environment unless you're very careful with how you put everything in. If you just start winging tools in, I'm afraid these plastic clips, they may start breaking over time. And while these plastic clips they put on are quite nice, they have a ball detent to help hold the sockets in place. I don't know how long they would live. This is an aluminum rail. It's nicely made, but I don't know how long they'd live in a tool bag. If you're working out of tool drawers in a shop, or even if you wanted to mount these on a wall, you could, because there's holes in them here. You could drill your own holes for that matter, but there's holes in there to making it easy to try and mount them. I don't know if in a bag they'd work well, but I think they'd be great in a tool drawer, or if you're mounting them on the wall. Now, since these are impact rated, how hard are they? And are they consistent between all of the different sets? So, in the past, we've normally had mid-60s, lower mid-60s for hardness of the impact tools on the outside. I can't test the inside of the tool with what I have here, but I can do an outside test here on the tools. So let's grab the 1/2 inch here and see what the hardness is with our 60 Rockwell file. I am digging in a little bit. Some of that's knocking scale off, but let's just back down to the 55. And we're skating. You can see I'm not making much of a mark there. And let's see how easily we dig in with the 65 compared to the 60. And that is just about as easy, honestly. So it does seem like the tip of this, while I can just scratch into it, is harder than it is back here. So I'm going to put this in the mid-60s. Let's go to the 12 mil in the metric set and see what we get with that. So now I'm going to favor the tip because I believe they may have hardened the tips on these. So I'm just, you can see I have a little bit of a mark there. I'm digging in, but I'm not digging in real easy. Now let's go to the 65, and there it's a lot easier. So that's also in the mid-60s. And then we're going to go to the T55 on our Torx set. And we're going to go right on the top face of it and see what we get. So I can go across that. You can see I make a mark, but I'm not digging in. I'm just kind of scratching it. And the T65 or the HRC 65, yeah, we make a much easier mark. I don't know if you can tell or not, but that's definitely a deeper mark into the tool than what we had with the 60. Now this is a good time to bring up, these are not security Torx. They are just your normal Torx driver. So there we go. We've been digging into these Astro Nano-esque and your Olsa Stubby series tools. And I think they're really neat. They give a good versatility. They're easily driven. These aren't a good example of it, but even the nano or shorter stubby sockets can be a faux pass-through up into the size of the drive. So you do get limited pass-through ability. If it's the quarter drive, it would be up to a quarter, 3/8 up to 3/8, and half up to half. But they're not really designed to be pass-through, but if you're working with smaller stuff, you could get away with it. The drivers that Astro put out are nice. The clips that Olsa put out are great. And the sockets across these lines, I do believe are made in a if not the exact same factory, a similar factory. Everything has been made in Taiwan across the two lines, and just the way they're made, they look very similar. I think it's great. These are also easily driven with your conventional square drive ratchets, so a regular 1/2 inch, 3/8, or quarter will drive all of these as well, and you have the benefit of throwing them on any 11 millimeter, 17 or 22 millimeter wrench, ratcheting wrench. Heck, you could even use a regular socket if you so desired, if that was how you were working on things. So lots of versatility, very compact, which has been, I think, one of the greatest things about these. It makes them super handy to get into tight spots, and being impact rated as a hand tool is great. You can obviously throw them on an impact as well. If you had yourself a stubby impact, there's nothing, or any impact, it's nothing stopping you from throwing these on an impact because they're also impact rated. So all of that kind of goes together to make a really nice, versatile tool that you can use on a lot of things in the shop. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Have you started digging into some of these tools? Do you find them interesting? Are there any questions about them? I think we covered most everything that you could want to know about these. They're just nice, compact, easy to use, versatile sockets, which I think is a very welcome thing to have in the shop. The more ways you can use things, the better it is. So let a comment down below. We're having a growing community of great guys that know a whole lot about what they're talking about from years of experience in the trades, and I think that's great. So as always, thanks for watching. Have a great day.